Hello my friends, how are you doing? It is time for the newest creative pack and here is a little teaser. Boom! And we're back in Affinity Photo. Hello my friends, my name is Olivio, I'm a professional designer and I want to thank all of my patrons who support me and make these videos possible. So if you have watched my last live stream, you have probably seen me create this picture here. As you can see, we started from this nice sunny picture, boat out there relaxing somewhere on a lake or the sea, and then it turns into this kind of apocalyptic, like really dramatic picture, very nice colors in there. And to create something like this, you can imagine you need some kind of muted colors. So I created a gradient pack specifically for that. And this is, by the way, called the Mythical Gradient Pack 2, because if you can remember, I already created one mythical gradient pack and this was this one. It has these powerful, energetic sci-fi colors, have a beautiful glow, very cool atmosphere, but they are also very loud colors. So if you want to have something that is more muted, is more silent, is more a little bit poetic and stuff like that, you need more muted colors. So this is what this gradient pack is about. And in the biggest version, it is 80 different gradients. They come in a linear form and also in a radial form, and it is over 120 solid colors. All of them have been sampled by hand from beautiful digital paintings by really great masters. So these are really great colors that have been selected by artists for their atmosphere, for the way they create the picture, the kind of language you find in a picture. So this is really amazing. And let's have a look at how to actually use them. So let's click this back in here and switch over to this picture, which is already a pretty cool picture. We have a nice overcast sky, dramatic clouds in there, all these kind of things, but we want to adjust the atmosphere. So what are we going to do? We can, over here on the left side, create a rectangle. And as you know, the packs that I create for you, they are always built on my own workflow that I use every day. I also use in my live stream. You can watch me this Thursday, by the way, where I will make an exclusive live stream just using this pack to create cool works for my Instagram account. So let's create here a rectangle over all of the picture. We can actually snap that to the corners. You can see there's a bit of gradient already applied to that, and we can just click here now and switch that around. As you can see, very nice muted color combinations, but we don't see the picture in the background. So what we have to do here is that we simply set this either to overlay or to soft light. In this case, to soft light, that is good enough for us. We can reduce the opacity to limit the effect so it's not that strong. Let's set this to 75. And in this case, you have seen that the gradient went from left to right. We don't want to have that here because we have a sky. So I'm going to use my gradient tool, and now I can simply draw this in like that. So you can see the darker part is down here in this case, the lighter part is up here. And now with this set up, I can simply click through my different gradients and see these different atmospheres. And you can see how color creates a language and an expression in a picture. And this is why color is so important, and specific colors, artistic colors, are extremely important in a picture. So for example, if you compare this, which has this kind of bluish green now in the sky, to this, which is more kind of a violet, completely different expression of the picture. And so when you switch through these different colors, also this is again different. So here we have this kind of darker grayish blue, kind of metallic blue. Down here it's a little bit more warm. You see here's a little bit like red violet tone in there. And this, what we have before, is more like a green tone. This looks more like end of the world kind of thing. while this is a bit warmer, it's a bit more approachable, you know? So you can click through all of these different gradients and see what you can do with them and how they change the picture for you. This is also very nice, what kind of atmosphere you get from them. And like I said, this pack, this time, it is more subtle. It is more about thinking about colors and seeing your picture as kind of like a poetry, like an expression, like what kind of story, what kind of thing do I want to show, do I want to tell with this picture. So this is really also nice to think about your pictures and really think about the expressions you can get from a picture, because one picture can be 1,000 different expressions if you want to, depending on the editing that you use in the picture. Let's look at another picture here. For example, we have this one here, and you can see this is always like most of the pictures I'm using here are these kind of overcast pictures, darker pictures, more muted pictures from the situation itself, because if it would be a very loud situation on its own, you wouldn't use these kind of muted colors for it, you know? So it fits with that better. And we can see here again, if we play around, we can also try here to see what overlay brings us. You can see that's a bit more intense. You see a bit more of the colors. We can play around with that. And you can see how, again, the expression changes, like the mood changes, even with some of the gradients like this one, the kind of daylight situation changes. So this is more like of a morning shot or like starting of the night. You can see compared to this is another situation of the day, and also gives you a very different feeling about the situation and what the photo means. So this can be very nice and very expressive. And of course, what you can do, as always with gradients, is that you can turn them around and upside down to get a different kind of light situation. So you can see now this one goes, let's turn it sideways. You can see this goes from a blue to more of a like violet a little bit. So if I turn this to the side, you can see now the sky is cool, but the ground is more warm. But if I turn it around to the other side, as I had before, the sky is more warm, but the ground is more cool. So it's really interesting to think about these things, to work with them, and to see what kind of expressions you can create. Another example I want to show you, and this is good for the solid colors that I've created for this pack, is, for example, this scene that I also show, because there's a little online course included where I go through these things in more detail. And this is a good example because here you have a story between the room and the outside world. So we have this rectangle as before, but now you can see right now this is a gradient. But if I switch over to my solid colors and I click here, this turns to just a solid color. And again, you can see with my overlay applied to that, this has an influence on how the picture looks. But now, if you look at the picture, and if you observe how the picture is changing from the different colors, for example, here, if we click on these upper colors here, you can get a warmer atmosphere in here. Let's switch over to soft light for a second and make this effect a bit stronger, like that. Okay, let's see. So you can see here, for example, with this color, the room is getting warmer and the outside is getting colder, and you're more like, I'm in a nice room, I don't want to go outside. The outside doesn't look inviting in this kind of situation. But if you switch over to another color, like for example this, the room gets a lot darker, but the outside, the blue of the outside of the raining day is more inviting, is more adventurous, is more like, I want to explore this city. It has its own story. You want to know more about the city that is outside the room. So it reverses your kind of energy of where you want to go in this picture, of what the interest is, of what the story is. So these are very small, subtle changes, but you can see that they have a huge impact. That's the color from before, and this is the color change. You can also try out the other colors to see what kind of change you get. For example, with this kind of situation, light and soft violet can be very nice on the colors because it has this nice, it gets this kind of very nice cozy atmosphere. Although it's raining outside, it's still like, it feels good, it feels positive, it's like more like a story that you want to explore rather than a rainy day where you want to rather stay inside. So have fun playing around with the free version of the pack, or if you want, go for one of the premium options. That's also cool. Thank you very much for watching, and see you on Thursday in my live stream, where I will go and will show you for 3 hours how I create pictures with this pack for my Instagram account. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next episode. Have a nice day. Bye.